Hi, I'm Robert Schlotterer. I'm a lead finance specialist in the Financial Solutions Unit of the Global Themes Vice Presidency. I would like to talk to you about a fascinating project currently under implementation in Pakistan. It has strong support from the World Bank through an innovative structuring and the use of World Bank guarantees. In 2014, Pakistan's energy sector was facing a power generation crisis leading to electricity shortages. This crisis reduced GDP growth by up to 2% per annum. Yet Pakistan is well endowed with hydropower potential that can help solve these types of generation shortages. The DASU hydropower project is an example of this. The project site is in the northern territories of Pakistan. It's a massive project that will produce up to 4,300 megawatt once built. The first stage of this project involves installing the dam structure and the first 2,160 megawatt of generation assets. This requires up to $3.8 billion of investment. The implementation period for this project is very long. It's over 6 years required to build the dam, powerhouse, and transmission lines. So Pakistan had a potential solution to its sector crisis by developing DASU, but the project had its own challenges. The first challenge was the large need for capital, coupled with the long construction period. Important preparatory works also needed financing before the main construction could start. Raising all the capital at the start of the project, which is a typical requirement by private sector developers for such projects, would have cost $1 billion more, given the fees and interest during constructions that would be payable. So financing and implementing the project through the private sector alone wasn't an option. The second challenge was the limited IDA envelope available. In 2014, this envelope had only $588 million for credits. The third and final major challenge was WAPTA's lack of track record in the international capital markets. WAPTA, which is the state-owned electricity utility, had never secured long-term foreign currency financing. The long construction period suggested a sequenced development of the project. This meant slicing procurement of the civil and electromechanical construction contracts into packages. It also meant raising just-in-time financing for each package. When we look at the history of large hydropower project financing globally, we see most projects above 1,000 megawatt have had some sort of sequential financing. The solution reduces financing costs, but there's also a risk that finance may not be available when it's needed. This helps explaining why large hydropower stations are more often financed and implemented by the public sector. And yet, a 100% public finance solution was neither available to Pakistan for this project. Given the constraints on WAPTA's balance sheet and IDA resources, we all needed to consider other financing options. Commercial capital came into play at this point, and this is where World Bank guarantees became relevant. In June 2014, the bank team secured board approval for a $588 million IDA credit to finance a significant part of the preparatory works. Also, the board approved the deployment of IDA guarantees in an amount of up to $460 million. This was remarkable because it was the first time the bank approved a sequenced financing approach. In doing so, the board accepted taking the risk and responsibility for future financing gaps under the project. Once the IDA credit started implementation in 2014, the bank supported WAPTA engaging an international financial advisor. For the next 2 years, the bank team and WAPTA worked well together to put in place a financing strategy. This helped WAPTA blend its equity, commercial finance, and IDA's concessional funding into the DASU financing plan. IDA's funding kick-started preparatory works and sent an important signal to local capital markets. Banks in Pakistan have plenty of funds, but they have been reluctant to finance WAPTA because of its patchy project track record. The World Bank seal of approval helped unlock important funding in the local markets in the form of a $1.5 billion Sukuk loan. And finally, the World Bank accompanied WAPTA on a global roadshow to see international banks. Subsequently, an IDA guarantee of $210 million was deployed in June 2017. This ultimately enabled WAPTA to secure its first ever international long-term financing in an amount of $350 million. So to date, 2 of the 3 major works contracts have been procured, contracted and financed. $798 million in World Bank support have helped mobilize $2.3 billion of local and foreign currency finance. This means that a large part of the project is commercially financed, which is a good outcome for this important project. Of equal importance, WAPTA has started to build a track record for international market access. This paves the way for future project financing in the years to come. And finally, the World Bank has demonstrated the power of its seal of approval and support by standing behind a complex and lengthy project. The bank committed to bring the project to a successful financial closing, yet the finance is only raised when needed.